And here's where I make a little bit of a departure from my usual types of vlogs, and I'm going to talk about an issue that is prevalent in today's society and is something that matters to me because I fall into this category, and yes, it is based on a project I did for school. What I'm going to talk about now is the concept of introverts and how they can survive in a world that is predominantly extroverted. Everyone ready? Here we go. Picture this for a moment. You're at a party surrounded by hundreds of people looking as though they are having a good time. For every one of those partygoers, there will always be that one person who feels out of place. This is a person that feels as though he or she does not belong there and would rather be at home than out in public surrounded by happy people. If you see such a person, chances are that person may be an introvert. Introverts are people who normally keep to themselves and who usually direct their social energy inwards as opposed to their counterpart, the extrovert, who usually directs their social energy outward. The extrovert enjoys being around people and thrives off of being around them, while the introvert, on the other hand, feels more comfortable not being in social situations for too long. That actually sounds like me. According to the book Introvert Power by Lori Helgo, PhD, the introvert makes up more than half of the population. And yet we assume that introverts are an occasional deviation, the geeks in the shadows. In short, America has become a land of extroverts. In order to compare how introverts and extroverts fare in today's world, we would have to take a look inside the minds of both parties. According to an article on LiveScience.com, scientific research has led to the conclusion that certain neural differences in people's brains can determine a person's characteristics. Study researcher Ina Fishman of the Salk Institute for Biological Sciences in La Jolla, California, observed that the study was just another piece of evidence to support the theory that personality is more than just a psychological concept. To support their theory, Fishman and her colleagues recruited 28 participants between the ages of 18 to 40 years old who varied from introverted to somewhat extroverted to very extroverted. Using EEG, the researchers studied a change in the brain's electrical activity known as P300. P300 refers to the amount of time in which a person reacts to a change in the environment. In this case, the reaction occurred within 300 milliseconds. In the experiment, the subjects saw a series of photographs featuring human faces and were also shown pictures of purple flowers interspersed with pictures of yellow ones. As a result, the higher the subjects scored on a test for extroversion, the greater their P300 response was to human faces. In other words, extroverts paid more attention to human faces than the introverts did. When they were tested, the introverted subjects were revealed to have very similar responses to the images that the extroverts had. However, as Fishman observed, the introverts regarded the human faces with indifference. In the end, Fishman concluded that the extroverts held more importance with social interactions than introverted people did. Wow, who knew? According to the article, The Science of What Makes an Introvert and an Extrovert, personality is part of what makes us who we are. So it's not surprising that introversion and extroversion have wide-ranging effects on our lives, which also includes engaging in risky behavior. Extroverts are more prone to engage in risky behavior as opposed to their introverted counterparts, most notably in drinking, unprotected sex, and high-risk sports, name a few. The article goes on to say that extroverted traits are more highly valued in today's society, and this can make introverts feel like something is wrong with them. However, author Susan Cain noted that schools and workplaces are designed to work in favor of extroverts, explaining that collaboration is key to creativity and productivity, which is the opposite of the introvert's need for solitude. The article ended with a statement that Cain was calling for a new educational and workplace system that allows introverts the freedom and solitude they need to thrive and be successful. But for many, the real test over how introverts and extroverts interact with the world around them is in the workplace. A place of employment many times requires people to interact with people more often than not. The workplace is where extroverts really tend to shine, and depending on the job, this is where the introvert tends to feel out of place. When it comes to work, introverts prefer to concentrate on one task at a time and observe a situation before deciding to get involved. Careers that promote the strengths of introverts include scientists, writers, and artists, and internet people like me. While extroverts tend to be politicians, teachers, and salespeople, where quick thinking, problem solving, and the ability to multitask bring out the extrovert's abilities really well, as opposed to the fact that the introvert tends to desire the need to complete the task on their own. Again, me. However, as it is on the streets, extroverts still try to force the introverts to come out of their shells and try to be more socially interactive. Hence the misconceptions that both parties face on a regular basis. For example, the introvert is seen as shy or withdrawn and sees the extrovert as too bossy and too loud. The article goes even further to point out that in order to be a successful employee, it is crucial to understand not only yourself, but also the personality of those around you in the workplace. Even to this day, introverts are misunderstood by their extroverted counterparts as far as their quiet demeanor goes. The only way for the misconceptions to end is for the extroverts to give the introverts the space they need to thrive. In return, the introverts also need to learn that the extroverts mean well when they say they're trying to bring them out of their shells and that they are not trying to offend them. While extroverts have the advantage when it comes to traditional social interactions, introverts have found a place where they can socially interact on their terms. The internet. It was found that introverted and neurotic people were able to locate their real me on the internet, most notably in today's social media dominated world. Hell, you're looking at an example right here. Thanks to sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and even dating sites, introverts have the ability to interact without fear of becoming too overwhelmed, which tends to take place whenever they go out in public. Therefore, they have the right to remain anonymous until they feel comfortable enough to meet a person in public. They also have the right to rewrite what they say online, whereas in the real world, if an introvert says the wrong thing, then they run the risk of being rejected by the person or people that they are trying to connect to. Best example, dating. However, the introvert's concept of living in a virtual world can be a dangerous one, primarily because of the fact that they tend to view the internet as a replacement for real-life interactions. It has also been said that people who cannot express themselves are prone to suffer from serious psychological disorders. And that thought in itself is as good a reason as any to continue looking into this phenomenon about the social interaction between the user and the internet and its impact on said person's well-being. It has been proven that extroverts hold more importance on the world of social interactions than the introverts do. After all, as I mentioned before, America is the land of extroverts, and they have more advantages as far as traditional social interactions go as opposed to the introverts. Extroverts also take the most risks, while the introverts are more quiet, thoughtful, and more likely to go it alone on various tasks. Of course, in recent years, introverts have discovered the newest phase of social interaction offered by the internet. On the internet, those who cannot interact socially in the real world routinely run the risk of having the world offered by the use of social media and the internet replacing the real world. In the article, How to Thrive in an Extroverted/Introverted Workplace, there is a list of 3 simple rules that extroverts need to know about their introverted colleagues. For example, if an introvert needs alone time, which is almost frequently, the extrovert should respect it and not take it personally. Also, they should wait patiently for an introvert's opinion because they are not in a rush to speak up, and that extroverts should not try to turn an introvert into an extrovert. And I know that firsthand what happens when that happens, and trust me, it's not very pretty. The article also explains in turn of what introverts should know about their extroverted colleagues. That the extroverts actually mean well and are not trying to be annoying, that they can help with small talk, and that there are extroverts who also have a quiet side to them as well. In the end, it is little things like this that can help bridge the long-term gap between the introverts and the extroverts to a state where both can find harmony. Now, I've pretty much always been an introvert, as you can tell, so basically you can tell that this segment, as well as its original incarnation as a project for school, is very important to me. Because I truly found out I was an introvert when I took a sales and promo course during my last semester as a radio TV major, and we had to take a simple psychology test to determine whether you were an introvert or an extrovert. And my results revealed that I was an ISTP, which stands for Introvert, Sensing, Thinking, Perception. And as a result, that was kind of unnerving to me because the radio TV industry is predominantly extrovert. That was probably why I wasn't really doing well in the class, and as a result, that's what actually led me to drop the course during spring break and change my major to Communication Arts New Media, where I probably should have been since my work has mainly been on the internet. But that's alright, I learned a lot from radio TV, especially the fine art of editing. So at the end of the day, I should really be thankful for the test because I'm in a place where I truly belong, and I have the option to thrive in a medium where I can act on my own terms and practically be myself, especially since I can't do that in the real world. Besides, being an introvert is not that bad. There are a lot of cool people who are introverts. In the real world, Clint Eastwood is an introvert, and in fact, my top 2 favorite superheroes, Spider-Man and Batman, are introverts as well. So yeah, I'm pretty much in good company.